The sponsor of today's video is St. Benedict Radio Theater. Do you like turning on old-time radio or enjoying a little entertainment that does not include staring at a screen? Do you like radio which, while still being interesting, does not contain 1,000,001 curse words? Then St. Benedict Radio is for you. Dominic Trice has spent his valuable time making radio plays just for your entertainment, which you can go to the following link at stbenedictradiotheater.com to buy for low and affordable prices. Again, that's stbenedictradiotheater.com, or simply click on the link in the description below. Hello and welcome to the Defender Podcast. This is Wardens of the Cross. The Pope, also known as the Pontiff, is the leader of God's Roman Catholic Church. As with many parts of God's Church, he has many controversies and misunderstandings surrounding him. There are a plethora of varying beliefs and thoughts which people entertain regarding the Pontiff, and the most prevailing of these is the confusion over papal infallibility. In this episode, we shall debunk some of the arguments and misconceptions regarding the infallibility of the Pontiff, and we shall also see what it actually takes for the Pope to be declared as having spoken infallibly. Before we prove that the Pope can speak infallibly, we shall see what the Second Vatican Council declared in reference to infallibility. The Vatican Council stated that, quote, although the individual bishops do not enjoy the prerogative of infallibility, they can nevertheless proclaim Christ's doctrine infallibly. This is so even when they are dispersed around the world, provided that, while maintaining the bond of unity among themselves and with Peter's successor, and while teaching authentically on a matter of faith or morals, they concur in a single viewpoint as the one which must be held conclusively. This authority is even more clearly verified when, gathered together in an ecumenical council, they are teachers and judges of faith and morals for the universal church. Their definitions must then be adhered to with the submission of faith. End of quote. This proves that even the bishops are infallible if they are simply reaffirming a doctrine or dogma of the Church in a way that does not contradict the teaching. Papal infallibility is only used very rarely, if at all, in the course of a single pontiff's reign. Pope Francis, for example, has not spoken ex cathedra at all thus far, nor did Pope Benedict XVI ever do so. Ex cathedra is just another word for infallibly. This goes to show that, despite common beliefs, not everything the Pope says or does is perfect, and he is most certainly capable of sinning. Many things which popes have done are mortal sins, and most certainly are morally wrong. The Pope rarely speaks infallibly or behaves perfectly, and to do so, he must meet certain conditions. Before laying out what a Pope must do to speak infallibly, we shall see proof from the Bible itself that the Pope can speak infallibly in certain situations. The Pope was given the power by God to speak infallibly regarding his doctrines and dogmas, him being God, of course, as can be seen in Luke 16:10, when Jesus tells his apostles that, quote, he who hears you hears me. This is in reference to their teaching his laws, but it also shows how the Pope can speak infallibly. When the Pope speaks ex cathedra, he must be teaching based off of a previously defined teaching. Whether this is creating a new teaching, which is obviously linked to a prior teaching, or redefining it, the Pope cannot simply create a new teaching with no basis or groundwork in former doctrine and dogma. The Pope often clarifies or repeats teachings of the Church infallibly, But according to the citation listed earlier, this is not unique to him. The Pope does not do everything perfectly, and he never will. Catholics do not believe that the Pope is God on earth, or that everything which he does is moral and just. The Pontiff is simply the leader of the Roman Catholic Church, who, like the rest of us, commits sin and must beg forgiveness from our Lord. Even the first Pope, Pope Peter, was not the perfect Pope, and he was chosen by God himself. Pope Peter denied our Lord 3 times, and, as with anyone who is truly repentant, God still forgave him. The Pope speaks infallibly very rarely, and he is anything but a perfect being. He is meant to be a lowly and humble ambassador between us and the Lord, not a mighty prince who us Catholics worship.